I asked ChatGPT what are the 10 worst things about modern society that living on a sailboat fixes. And what it said shocked me with its accuracy. For some time now, I've had this feeling that modern society as a whole has gone completely crazy. People are angry about little things that shouldn't bother them, and they're not bothered by big things that should anger them. Hating those they should love, and loving those they should hate. It feels a little bit unreal anytime I talk to a friend of mine who lives back on land in normal society. And maybe that's because I don't have to deal with any of that. You see, I live full-time on my off-grid capable sailboat Adventureborn, which I've built up over the years to become a bastion of comfort and capability far, far away from anyone else. But as I read through each answer that ChatGPT gave me, it rang more and more true. So without further ado, let's dive into what ChatGPT said and see if it's really true. So to start off, ChatGPT said this in response. Living on a sailboat can offer a unique lifestyle that addresses certain challenges of modern society. Here are 10 potential improvements. Now right out of the gate, I really like the way that it wrote this up. All right, starting out at number 1, it said environmental impact. Reduce carbon footprint and increase environmental awareness. Now I myself living on this self-sufficient boat can really attest to this. I make every bit of water that I use, and I'll tell you what, I'm very responsible with how much water I use because of that. I have a little foot pump that pressurizes every bit of water that I need. What little bit of trash I do use is real pain to get off the boat, so I'm really careful to make as little trash as possible. Right here is all the trash that I've accumulated over the last week. This is pretty standard for me, if not maybe less when I'm in a place even more remote. As well, what I eat, I can only carry so much in here, so I'm very careful not to load up a gigantic refrigerator and let anything go to waste. Even my environmental impact of traveling is substantially less just to anybody who commutes on a morning basis. I'm nowhere near that. This engine is incredibly efficient, but more often than not, I'm using the sail to get where I need to go. And then once I do get there, and look at this, I'll be tied up to the shore on a mooring, or most often on my anchor. Not only that, all the electricity that I'm making has to come from my solar panels right here. So again, I really know what I'm producing and I'm not using up more than I need. If anything, I'm using up just the bare minimums. All right, I could talk all day on this subject, but really environmental impact, I think as a sailor and a cruiser, we absolutely kill it. And if you want more evidence on this, check out the rest of my YouTube channel where I show a lot of the most sustainable things I do, like spearfishing, growing my own food, doing sprouts. It's a very sustainable lifestyle. All right, number 2, simplicity. Embracing a minimalist lifestyle on a boat can simplify daily living. Yeah, that's really true actually. For most of us out here, we're taking every day just as it comes. We wake up every day, check the weather, decide what we can do based on the weather. We go kiteboarding, paddleboarding, spearfishing, free diving, you name it. We're out here really just doing the simple things in life because we don't need to be going out to the bars or meeting friends. Now, given a lot of sailors do enjoy to drink, but for me personally, I think the best things in life are the simplest things. Number 3, disconnecting from technology. Living on a sailboat encourages less reliance on constant digital connectivity. Now, for me personally, that's not true, unfortunately. I find myself constantly online because of what I do, because of all the content creation. But other sailors, yeah, I see them out and just enjoying nature so much more. Because living in a house, you can choose to just live inside the house and that's it. On a sailboat, you really end up living out of the sailboat. So I think for number 3, disconnecting from technology, yeah, ChatGPT knows what it's talking about. Number 4, cost of living. Lower expenses in terms of housing and utilities. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the first point away from ChatGPT on this one. It depends on how you're living on land for sure, but boats can cost so much more than houses. Where do I even start with this? Yeah, if you buy a boat that's free or cheap or a really good deal, that can end up costing you tens of thousands and some people even hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I actually think this is the first one that ChatGPT didn't quite get correct for the most part. With my lifestyle, I will say, and with my boat that I've gotten, I certainly live far cheaper than most. So it's not a complete wash here, but I would say for most people, they probably spend a bit more living on a boat. They might even go out to eat, at pretty expensive places. But then again, I could see on land, those same people would then go out to eat every single night or they go out to the bar, so it does kind of take away from that. Honestly, this one could go either way, but just for the sake of this, I'm gonna take this 1 point away from ChatGPT. Number 4, nope. Number 5, community. Closer-knit sailing communities foster a sense of camaraderie and support. Okay, this one, ChatGPT really hit the nail on the head here, and it's something I didn't get into sailing for, but it's kind of why I've stayed into sailing, is the cruiser community. When you're on sort of like the beaten path where most sailors transit, you can make so many friends so quickly and have those friends for life. And then you sail away from them and then you meet up with them again later and it's like no time had passed. It really is like one of the best things about sailing, in my opinion. It's just the hospitality that you get from other sailors. And this is particularly true when you're in more and more remote areas. So for number 5, I say ChatGPT got this one pretty great. Number 6, self-sufficiency. Learning to navigate and maintain a boat promotes self-resilience. All right, this is another one that ChatGPT got really correct, I gotta say. Living on a boat means that you have to know how to produce all of your own electricity, often how to produce your own water, or go very far and kind of a pain to go get water somewhere else. But either way, it's nowhere near the same as just living in a house or an apartment or a condo where you just turn the faucet or flick a switch and you instantly have water or electricity. Everything out here requires you to have some sort of a really comprehensive knowledge to do anything at all, or you'll end up sinking your boat altogether. If you want to go anywhere, I mean, there's no roads out here. You literally just have to figure it out. And every time you go into a port, I mean, that's, depending on where you are, can be a real challenge. Some ports have a rock sticking up just a little bit below the surface, and if you don't read the charts correctly, you could sink your boat on that. So as far as self-sufficiency goes, yeah, sailing really does encourage that. The last thing I'll say on that is that living a normal modern life, if you ever have a problem, you can just call 911. If you're out on the water and you're remote, you do not have that option. So it really promotes self-sufficiency so much. Number 7, closer connection to nature. Living on the water provides a more direct connection to the natural world. Okay, ChatGPT got it right all over again. Let me go down the list here. There's free diving with sharks and dolphins and sea turtles. There's being at remote beaches, remote islands, remote forests that are right there on the edge of the water. There's the seabirds always around your boat in the open ocean when you're sailing. I mean, living on a boat means living out of nature, basically. Now, that is unless you live on some gigantic mega yacht or some of the insanely large catamarans we see nowadays. But even still, you're so close to nature at all times. It's completely difficult to escape it. If you live in a city, I mean, you might be on the 42nd floor of a condo high-rise. But out here, you feel that fresh breeze every single day. So I'll say again, yeah, ChatGPT got this one. All right, number 8, adventure and exploration. Constantly changing locations and the freedom to explore new places. This isn't a contest anymore. We get it, ChatGPT. You know the answer to all this stuff. Yeah, if anybody, I'm gonna have to agree with this the most. I mean, think about how much time I spend kiteboarding and freediving, spearfishing, paddleboarding, cliff diving, fire dancing on a beach, you name it. There is just so much to go see and do. And that's not even to include, I mean, just going exploring places in the dinghy. My dinghy has a range of 20 nautical miles each way, and that's not including me bringing a spare tank. So you think about just how far I can go in that. And then the sailboat itself bringing out to some really, really remote places. So adventure and exploration, yeah, ChatGPT definitely got that one correct. Number 9, reduce consumerism. Limited space encourages a focus on essentials rather than accumulating possessions. This is a little bit similar to number 2, simplicity, but I will say, yeah, it's really, really true. And I have the absolute best example for this. My Amazon cart right now, which has no joke 50 items in it. But guess what? I can't get those for at least another month. I can't even hit the order button yet because I'm not even on the island where I could receive them. And who knows what would happen if I hit that button and for some reason I don't make it to that island. You get what I'm saying? Is that I don't have the option to have anything extra on the boat. And I'm the worst person to ever buy a gift for. It has to be either so small or so essential that that's it, or it has to leave the boat. And I have most all of my essentials pretty well laid down. So reduce consumerism, yeah, that's completely true. And again, compared to the modern life, I mean, how much stuff can you put in a house? Thinking about some of my friends that live a normal life on land. They have a decent sized house, they have a huge walk-in closet, and they can just fill it with stuff. On the boat, if I have anything that's even remotely out of place, then I might be tripping over it. I mean, look at the boat right now. Like, this is how I keep it at all times. And if you don't keep it like this, it feels like it's crowding up onto you. You have to make such good use of every little bit of space. So this one I think is one of the truest ones here. Number 10, work-life balance. A simplified lifestyle may contribute to a better balance between work and leisure. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and strike this one for ChatGPT. At least as far as it goes for me, I do not have a good balance whatsoever. I often will spend 12 hours a day in my boat working on videos, editing, new content ideas, things like that. And then other times I might spend a whole week straight just doing nothing but fun and shenanigans. Maybe that is a good balance, I don't know, but it doesn't feel like it to me. To be honest, I feel like somebody who lives maybe out in the country might be able to have a better work-life balance than this. I certainly feel like somebody who's inside of a major city would be a lot harder to have that. But then if I stop for a moment and think about all the other sailors I know, they're really good about every night, sitting out on their boat, sitting out in the cockpit or up in the bow, having a little drink, watching the sunset, taking the moment. So that type of a balance, I think for most people does really good, but I think out of this list, it's the only other one that I can't quite hit. So that means out of the 10 of these, there's only 2 of them that I think don't quite apply perfectly. Number 4, cost of living. You can spend a lot more on a sailboat. And number 10, work-life balance. But overall, looking at this list, ChatGPT had a very comprehensive response to this, and this was a very difficult question to be answered, and it did it instantly. So it's kind of fascinating and gives a very unique perspective back at what's going on. I'm certainly going to be asking ChatGPT all sorts of other random questions, and I'm curious from you guys, what's a question you want me to ask ChatGPT and see what it says and do a deep dive on that? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Cheers. Hey, one last thing. By the way, I want the purpose and point of this video to be clear. It's not that I think that people who live a normal life on land are crazy. Not at all. Most people are at their happiest living a normal life on land in society. But for those of you who do feel a strain living in normal modern day society, I want this video just to show you a few of the alternatives, options that you do have if sailing is maybe right for you. Either way, I hope it inspires you guys and you enjoyed the video. Cheers. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. I hope you feel inspired to begin adventures of your own. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. For an exclusive, in-depth look at this adventure lifestyle, and to further support my channel, become a member of my Patreon crew. Link in the description. I'll see you on the next adventure.